Hello, hello. It is Leah Simone. Welcome to Intuitively Simone. Thank you for coming back to our channel, a sacred space that is yours, mine, and the divine. We have another lovely reading today, you guys. And honestly, I say lovely, but I'm actually getting energy of a little bit of heaviness. So let's go ahead and get into it. I was already getting a lot, and I think that the visuals and messages that I was getting might be related, like one message per pile. I don't know, and I don't know which pile would be what. I also don't know if like any of these messages are connecting, but I'm gonna tell you what I was experiencing. Before I get into that though, I do think that this might be a type of reading that needs a trigger warning because like I said, there was a lot of heavy energy. So the first energy that I was getting was this message of someone questioning their life experiences. Like, why is this happening to me? Not just recent events. I mean, like lifelong experiences that they've had relating to themes of like struggle, hardship, poverty, abandonment, disrespect, betrayal, like offensive, like abuse, offenses against one's personhood, whether that's like physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. So there's that. And the messaging that was coming through for that one was, what I heard was, you had to go through it to speak to it. So that was one of the messages. The next visual that I received and messaging that I got was that there was someone who has an ailment of some sort, and this may be literal, like a literal illness ailment, or this could be related to like a mental disorder or just something that's different. So take that how that applies, but someone that is dealing with an ailment, and they finally, like in later on in life, found the antidote. And whatever this antidote is the only thing that they have found that has worked for them in their entire life. But then suddenly this antidote is not available. And it's like for no other reason than the distributor or vendor or pharmaceutical company or whatever of said antidote has decided that you don't fit, the person with the ailment doesn't fit whatever the criteria is. Maybe you're not the right age demographic or the right status, or you don't have the proper level of ailment, or maybe you're too ill, or whatever the situation is, it was decided that you can't have that. So when you experience symptoms or flare-ups of this ailment, there is a level of pain and discomfort associated with this ailment. On top of now, there's a mental and emotional added burden and pain that you also are carrying, because it's this sense of knowing that there's an antidote out there, but you just don't have access to it. So it's like knowing that you don't have to feel this, or that you don't have to experience this, that there's an antidote, but you just can't have access to it. That was the second message that was coming through. The third message, and again, I have no idea what order or how this is going to fall within the cards, so I'm just giving you the messages as it came through. The third message that I got was, I think someone here, so the third message that I got was relating to a loss, and it came through in two ways. It's relating to to like a pregnancy. So what I'm getting is that this loss could come in two ways. Either there was a pregnancy that was a loss, or there was a pregnancy and either like just before, maybe weeks before the birth, during the birth, or weeks after the birth, there was the loss of the partner of that pregnancy. So it's either the actual pregnancy or the loss of the partner, and either way it's like there's a loss of the partner with a new baby, or there was supposed to be a new baby and that new baby was lost. That was another message that was coming through. The fourth message that was coming through was relating to psychic gifts, specifically third eye, and it was, for me personally, I don't really know the messaging of this one, but I'm going to describe how this came through. So for me personally, I was channeling and this, and meditating, praying, all of those things, getting these messages. And when that happens to me, my third eye obviously is very active, and sometimes I kind of forget. And when I'm not clearly able to kind of figure out what the message is, I sometimes, I don't know, like by default, I'll put my finger on my forehead, or I'll like tap my forehead, and I forget how sensitive my third eye is. And I was sitting forever trying to figure out how to describe what this sensation is. There's such a hypersensitivity in my third eye and in my head that when I even just like tap my forehead or just touch it like that, it's like a ripple of, it's not pain, and it doesn't tickle. It's not like a great sensation. It feels, the word that I feel like I can use to describe it is almost like pressure. And what I see visually as far as how to describe it is like, have you ever watched Spider-Man? You know, when his spider senses start tingling, it's kind of like you see this like a pulsing of, I don't know how to describe that. Like the depiction in the cartoon is like there's a pulsing, and then Spider-Man, you know, kind of grabs his head. It's like, it's that's, I don't know what word describes that feeling that's associated with that, but that's exactly what, the way that it's depicted in that is exactly how I feel. Either when if I'm trying to decipher and figure out the message that Spirit's giving me and I'm going in the wrong direction, like I'll get, it's almost like I'm hitting a block, so I'll get that sensation. Or if I physically like touch my specifically my third eye or anywhere around there, then I feel that sensation. So that was the fourth message that was coming through. So again, I have no idea how that's gonna fall within the cards or how that message is gonna come through. But if any of those sound like anything that relates to this, oh, I never even told you guys, I'm so sorry. So the question that we're asking is actually, what should you be focusing on right now, or what should you be focusing on right now in order to help move you to the next phase in your journey, whatever that is. So that's the question we're asking, and those were the sensations. Also, I forgot to mention that when I got to the pile about when the message came through about the loss of this pregnancy, you guys, I know I've said this before, but this energy was so intense and heavy that I almost did not record this video because I had to clear out the energy. I didn't know that I would be able to go through physically and actually deliver the message the way that it was impacting my physical body and my energy. I couldn't, it's such an extreme, heavy depression and anxiety that is like, the anxiety is so intense that there's no will to do anything. The depression is so heavy. It's like, so anyways, it's the way that I feel it, the way that I could feel it, and it's constant. So the way that I feel it in my physical body this is how I can describe it. If you've gone on a roller coaster, you know how the roller coaster goes up and then there's that moment right when it drops. And as it drops, like you kind of feel that your heart does the same thing in your body for a moment. And then you kind of even back out. It's that moment. It's the feeling of that moment when your heart drops that I feel in my body, and I feel it consistently. So, and that's the message of what you are experiencing. It's like you can't get it to go away. So much so that like you can't, it's like, okay. So anyways, that message actually came through a little more detailed in the beginning than a lot of the other messages, but I don't want to go into that. So I don't know what pile that is, but all right, that's what I have, I guess, is the intro. So we have 4 piles to choose from. If you guys want to continue forward, we have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Of course, I'll add the picture, and then whatever you guys decide you are drawn to, I will meet you at that reading. Thank you. All right, pile one. So I'm gonna be honest with you. When I pulled these cards, okay. So before I get started, let me just say there were a couple things that came through. I heard Dark Night of the Soul. I also heard elitist, and there was something else that I heard, like just here at the end, and it escapes me honestly because I then became so distracted at the energy that was coming through and how it was kind of so ungrounded and all over the place. And immediately I felt my energy responding to this in a very judgmental manner. And I'm usually not that way. And I'm usually able to pull my own self out of these readings to be able to deliver the message, but I'm having a hard time doing that. And the reason why I'm explaining that is because I feel like that's significant to the message. And I haven't gotten into it yet, and I will, but I think that has to do with, I think the way that your energy is coming through, that there is a concern about judgment against you for something. The reason why I'm saying that is because the initial energy that I got, this is the pile that in the intro I gave the example about there's someone with an ailment and then someone that has the antidote. And this is not unfolding the way that I thought it was going to be, because I thought the message was going to be more centered around the person with the ailment and what their focus should be. It's not. It's about the antidote, and you're the antidote, and it's about you. When I said that, my heart just dropped, and that's exactly it, because I feel like you know that you're the antidote, and there's a conflict here where it's like, you know that you're the antidote, and you know that you have the ability to give this antidote yourself or whatever to the person that has the ailment. But the reason why you're stopping yourself is it has to do something with like status, this elitist energy, where it's like, well, you don't qualify for the antidote in whatever way that is. Apply that, of course, to your situation specifically. This is obviously metaphorical, but it's something about you, either your personhood, your energy, a skill, a talent, something of yours that you have, that you possess, that you own, that's innately you, that is an antidote to an ailment that someone else has. So there's that energy. And the thing that's standing out so prominently, honestly, is the energy of this card, specifically this person. It's like, I don't need to reveal myself. I just, this is so, I'm just getting such elitist energy. And from this also, it's like you have this elitist energy and you are leading with that because you know there are people around you that are kind of like watching you, whether that's watching you to know what, like how they should move, or whether that's watching you to make sure you're consistent in this elitist energy. There's something about you that has a status. I just heard upper echelon. There's something about you that there's a status, and it's like you have to maintain. I think this might be how you feel based on your experiences and the people around you and just your society and environment that you're around. But it's like you have to present yourself in this energy that's like the image that is it that people associate you with. That's your reputation, and now you have to maintain that reputation. And there's this energy that you have, like almost followers, where like okay, this is what is coming through, where it's like you've preached this perspective for so long, and you're like, yeah, you know, we're elite. This is just a general example. This may not be verbatim, but it's the general idea of like, you know, we're elite. We have the status. We have the image. We're the providers. We give, and we can't just give freely to anyone because supply and demand. You know what I mean? And we give quality. So if you don't meet this certain criteria, you don't get to get it. Sorry, sucks for you. And it's like you've expressed and upheld that mentality for so long that people are watching you. So there's like this element of like, are people going to judge me because I've been preaching this mentality for so long, but now I've changed, or now there's something about this specific person with an ailment that you've had to turn away. That's like, it's fucking you up. It's pulling at your heart. It's really like causing this conflict of self. And it may have sent you into a dark night of the soul once already. But I'm like, okay, it may have sent you into a dark night of the soul once already. So I feel like you received wisdom from that. But there's this energy that like, you're teetering, because I also see in the cards you have this elitist energy, but it's like you've had a perspective shift based on this ailment. This person with this ailment somehow has been able, but the thing somehow has been able to be able to flip your energy. The thing is, like, this person with the ailment, their energy is not here. It's like, how can I describe it? In the way that I'm like feeling it in my energy is like they're off, kind of on the periphery, on the sideline, like they're not even in my peripherals. I just feel the energy off to the side. Like if we were physically in this earth and they were there, I would have to turn my head to see them or for them to even be in my periphery, but I can feel their energy. Do you get what I'm saying? So like in this, that's how it's showing up in this reading. Like I know that they are a factor, but they're not even. So basically what I'm saying about that is like there might be some sort of a separation or something, but somehow you're picking up on their energy or you're getting some kind of information from them that's helped you shift your perspective. And now you have a conflict of self because you have this person that you're known for, this reputation that you have to uphold. I'm getting the sense like you've been this person for so long, like from you, it's almost like, how am I expected to just flip and change? You know, and in that there's a fear of judgment, because I also see here in the cards that it's like, I think that if you're teetering the fence, and if you don't make a decision one way or the other, there's going to be a dark night of the soul. And what I'm getting from you is that you feel like either way there's going to be a dark night of the soul, but you're not sure which one you can handle or not. Okay, I heard tolerate most. Where it's like, okay, if you choose to remain in this elitist energy, you know there's a consequence from being the person. There's a spirituality about this, about your energy, about this message, about this group, about this dynamic. There's this sense that you understand that you have this divine gift. My heart just fucking dropped. I think you know this, and I think this is what is like intimidating about the situation. Like you have this divine ability to provide the antidote for this person with this ailment, and it's like you're the only one. You are the only one. I'm getting emotional. I'm feeling it like building up in my chest and in my throat. So I don't know if this is something that you've cried about or something like that. There might be a feeling of like this is a lot of pressure that you might feel. Like, me, what if I fall short, or what if I prove to not be the antidote, or whatever. There's like a lot of pressure and expectation that you're putting on yourself. I think you're used to that because of being in this position and the way a lot of people may have like come to you or asked you or had these expectations of you growing up. So it's like just a second nature thing to start putting all this pressure on yourself about being basically a perfect provider, having all of the things. Right? So, but going back to what I was saying about like, you sense that this is a divine encounter, that you are the antidote for this person's ailment. And there's this fear of like, which consequence, because it's like, if you were to choose to remain in this status and not give the antidote to the person to this ailment, it's like your energy feels and fears the karmic retribution that would come from that. I'm just getting the sense of like a dark night of the soul, and all your shit's gonna come crumbling, and that makes me want to like gag. So the fact, like saying that out, it's almost like you don't even want to acknowledge that or recognize that it's so intimidating. You know what that might look like. I think because that dark night of the soul that you already had, like it shook you up so bad already, you know, and so there's a fear like, I don't want to go through that again. But there's also the fear that if you were to give the antidote to the ailment, it's like this energy of like, I'm breaking the rules. Do you know what I mean? Like we have this criteria that, you know, that for a reason it's there. And if I were to give the antidote, I'm breaking away from this criteria. And it's like, I just heard an upheaval. Like you're like, what kind of upheaval will that cause? Will then everybody start to just try to pass out this? And it's like that, you know what I mean? Like, how is that going to, I'm getting the sense, honestly, it's like, how is that going to impact this empire? Will the empire then crumble? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's this conflict of self, because it's like, do I allow this status to crumble, or do I allow this empire to crumble? And either way, at the center of it, I think you feel like there's a fault to be had and it's yours. No matter which way you choose, you feel like there's a fault to be had. And if you choose to give the antidote to the person that has this ailment, then this image that you have, or this, I just heard facade. So Spirit's highlighting that it's a facade and you're holding on too closely to it. But there's the fear that, if that crumbles, like it's your fault, that, okay. So what I'm getting is like, there's a fear that like people will no longer, you think that people will no longer come to you or trust you or seek you out for guidance or wisdom or anything like that. Like, okay, it's like you fear you'll lose your status. But I'm also getting the energy where it feels like the more that you, again, this person that's on the periphery, their energy, it's like the more that somehow you're getting something from them. I don't know, because I'm not getting that you guys are close, or I think that you guys might not be in contact or communication. But somehow you're getting information from them. So maybe they have a public platform of some sort. Maybe they write a vlog, or they have a podcast, or they, I'm seeing like a daily journal, a news article or something. Maybe they like post on Twitter, or they have some public platform where you're getting information from them. They don't necessarily know that you are, and also you're not giving anything back. So it's like you're safely behind a wall, kind of peeking through a peephole at this person, right? And you're getting information from them, which is actually making you realize that like maybe you're questioning like, damn, am I as wise as I thought? Like, am I the person? Like, I think it's making you kind of question your own value, because again, you were the leader. Like, people come to you, you provide, and then you're seeing this other person through this peephole providing such wisdom and knowledge that is like, it makes sense to you, but it's nothing. It's kind of this energy of like, damn, how did I never think of that? Like, why did I not know that? Or where's this person getting this from? That, where you're kind of like, damn, I'm noticing the age in this, where it's like, am I as wise as I thought? I'm noticing the difference between like the age of this Hermit card, where to you that represents what you thought your wisdom is or was. But then also the youthfulness in this card, where that represents like how kind of like how amateur you are in this whole. Okay, so what's coming through is like, I think you're recognizing that you kind of had like a one lane view. Your perspective was just like straight and narrow. It wasn't wide or expansive or inclusive, because again, okay, yes. So it's like, there's this status, this criteria, where this elitist energy, like, okay, well, you don't get to have access to whatever this is, or only certain people get to have access of whatever this is. But the problem in that is when you only allow certain people into a group based on a criteria, then the perspectives that you guys are sharing with each other within this small group is very limited. So this wisdom that this person on the periphery gains because they're not limiting themselves to like exclusive groups, or only identifying or relating or associating themselves with a certain type of person or a certain type of status or a certain type of image or whatever. They're all inclusive. They are happy to learn from anyone above or below them. And I'm putting that in quotes because this person isn't a person that thinks above, or they just think difference of experiences. So for them, like you might say like, okay, I'm above this person in status, where this person doesn't feel that way about you. They don't feel like they're above you, or even that you're above them. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, you have a different lens. And for them, it's like, I'm open to hear what you want to I'm noticing this like mask, and it's almost like this person would be the one that's like, if you offer, they would wear your mask to see things from your perspective, to understand, to kind of like, and the way that I'm describing it, I think you might receive it this way. It's not this person's intention, but the way that I'm describing it, I'm feeling like you might receive it kind of like, oh, this person just like goes to these various things to take what they can get and then move on, and then take what they can get and move on. And it's not that, because they're happy to, as long as it's mutually beneficial, and even in situations where it's not necessarily mutually beneficial, but if they can do a service to others by sharing this wisdom, they would totally be the person that's like, I met someone who had on this mask and I tried it on and this is what I learned from them. Do you know what I mean? That's their energy. And I think you're receiving that as like, oh, they just want to bounce around and take what they can get from people and then move on to the next one and take that credit for themselves. And this person's not like that at all. They move divinely is what I heard. And so, yeah. Okay, the energy is kind of like paused for a second. So let me just hold on. I don't know. I'm going to take a sip of tea though real quick, please. It was like an abrupt stop in energy, and I don't know what that means, but did you click out? Did you decide you had enough? You don't want to hear this about yourself? Or just, I'm seeing someone that like is secretly watching a tarot video and then someone walked in and they're like quickly trying to close out of it so no one sees. Like, do you watch tarot in secret? I'm not judging if you actually don't even have. Oh, that was the other thing that was coming through is there's a lot of like gossipy, critical energy from the people that's around you. And there's this sense that it's like, okay, so what I'm hearing is that like you found your true self, but you can't express that around these people. And that contributes to the other side of this where it's like, do I let this empire fall and move away from them? And then like, would that be my fault? Do you know? I feel like you're doing a lot of questioning of yourself. Like, am I a fake? Have I been a fake this whole time? You know, like, can people tell that I'm a fake? It's that energy. My back suddenly is hurting. I don't know what, you guys. Oh, channeling is a real thing. To feel this physically it's so wild. The way that it like comes and goes. It's like my back / hip, my right hip. So do you guys have any issues with your right hip? It might be a masculine energy. There's a lot of masculine imagery here. But you don't have to. And by masculine, that's energy again. So, okay. What should your focus be? Spirit is wanting you to, your angels, your ancestors. Hold on. The message is coming through, so let me not rush it. Hold on a second. I feel like I need to take in a deep breath and let out a big ass sigh of relief. Now, I don't know if relief is the right word. It's like a sigh of release, rather. Like, I just need to, like, you know what I mean? And just kind of, like, fall over and just let myself kind of dangle over and go limp for a minute. And not, I feel like that's what it is. Okay, it's like you're carrying so much. You might be feeling it physically in your body, maybe in your shoulders, in your upper back. I'm getting by like the shoulder blades, and just underneath that, and like maybe in is that called the flanks? Like the upper outer parts of your back. Do you know what I'm saying? Like just, I guess, right around like where your shoulder blades are, in the upper back area in general. There's a lot of tension that's coming through, and it's like from carrying all of this on an energetic and emotional and even mental level. It's almost like it's like winding you, you know, because I'm also getting like fast moving. It's like, I don't know. It's like I'm getting hurry up and wait, where it's like fast moving energy, but then also I think you exert yourself at the, like, it's like you do, it's so much mental energy and, okay, this is the plan. I'm going to do this thing, and you kind of like hype yourself up and get in the energy of doing whatever it is that you're doing, that by the time you get up to actually go do it, you're like wiped. You're like, oh my God, like, oh, I can't do this. I just don't even have the energy for it. Like, I'm tired. You know what I mean? Because there's that you're processing, plus I'm just seeing, plus all of the other things that you're doing on your regular day, like busybody energy. You know, I got to get, because you have this like status, you know, I got to get this thing done. I got to do this. I got to show up for this person. I got to give this, consultation. I gotta, whatever it is. I'm just seeing like the other people that you're giving your antidote to. And then this one little loner over here who's like, you don't get the antidote. So maybe that might be like knowledge of some kind. Maybe you offer, what I'm seeing is like, this could be for someone like a training course. And in order to enroll in this training course, you have to pay X amount of money, but this person doesn't have that X amount of money. So it's like they don't get access to it, but they really need to learn whatever it is that you're teaching in order to, cope with life. In order to be able to cope with life. For some of you guys, it's like your literal physical presence. You're like building a relationship, just something about your overall energy and being that helps to ground this person. For some of you guys, I'm getting like mental, like this ailment that this person has might be mental related. So it could be like a disorder of sorts. So like attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, bipolar disorder, autism spectrum disorder, is dyslexia a disorder? And like that type of thing, that type of mental energy. And something about you, like, I don't know, it's like it brings it into balance for that person. So, okay, sorry, I was saying, what should your focus be? Okay, there's something that wants to come through with this card. This card says, stretch those wings and get ready to soar. When the energy that I'm getting from this is, hold on, it's coming through very like, okay. It's coming through, I almost want to say like it's coming through slow, but it's not slow. Like this is what it feels like. Okay, how I'm trying to describe, I want to say like this is what it feels like to not have anxiety. And by that, I mean like the constant need to meet these expectations and these demands and show up here and do this and the time constraints and I got to hurry up, that go, 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 go. I don't know if you recognize, maybe you do, that it's creating this underlying sense of anxiety. So when you do finally slow down and like allow it, when you do finally slow down and rest is what they're saying, your guides, your angels. When you do finally slow down and allow things to move at, okay, hold on there, sorry. When you do finally slow down and move at like your own pace, I get the sense that you feel like a sense of anxiety about that. Like there's, relating to, I don't know, hold on. Oh, I feel like it has to do kind of like with the fear of unknown. Okay, like sitting still too long. It's like your brain starts to, okay, I got it. So it's like when you sit still for too long, if there's something that you don't know, your brain starts to kind of go and fill in the blanks. And that kind of creates a sense of anxiety. You're running from yourself. Okay, that's your focus, is to not run from yourself and to sit with yourself. And that's going to help you solve this conflict that you're having, this conflict of self, because there's this energy that you don't slow down long enough to even like sift through what is trying to, I'm getting like your intuition, the messages that your angel's trying to give to you to even be able to connect to your psychic abilities. And also to get like the wisdom that you're so enamored that this outside person with this ailment has. you're not able to access that because you're not slowing down long enough. And when you do slow down and that stuff starts to come in, I think it feels overwhelming for you. So there's a message here that like you may not recognize that you have an ailment, but this person is your antidote. I don't think you recognize that you have an ailment because you're so used to being the antidote that you think that you are like exempt. And I don't mean to taunt you or make fun of you if that's how you're receiving it. Please reconsider. I'm not at all taunting you. It's just that's the wisdom that other person has to know that like even though they have an ailment, it does not mean that they're not an antidote for someone else. Whereas you think that because you've been an antidote for your whole life to so many, like, you know what I mean, to whoever you were an antidote for, because you've been an antidote, you think that you can't be or have an ailment. But that is like, that's the wisdom you're not accessing because you're not sitting down with yourself. Because I think that when you sit down with yourself, it's almost like you start to, I don't know, I think you start to feel the ailment, whatever that is for you. Maybe that's literally anxiety or whatever the situation is. I don't know. There's some sort of ailment that this other person is the antidote for. And this is a metaphor. So honestly, like what that could be is going to be such a broad range. But either way, you guys are going to be able to ground each other. So it could, I don't know. That can just spill out in so many ways. I'm getting even in like relationships. So whatever your if this is a romantic relationship, like whatever your romantic experiences are that you like have a trigger around, let's say, you know, you don't even, maybe you don't recognize that you have this trigger, you have this ailment, quote unquote, but this person comes in to show you a different side to what you've experienced and they're your antidote. And then like vice versa. Do you get what I'm saying? Either way, the message is like, you have to, your focus, pile one, is to be still. To be still. And I don't mean just sit down and be still. I mean to like, yes, that maybe, but like, it's like stillness of self. Allow yourself. So, okay. That makes sense. All right. Remember how I was telling you like how my physical body, like I start to feel these things and I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, it'll go away. It's that. It's the understanding that when you sit down, whatever flood of emotion or thought or whatever that comes, the more you resist it, the longer it stays. Why? Because it would be as if I had a straw, right? God, I wish I had a straw, and because I really want to give you this visual. But if I had a straw, and then there was like water or some sort of liquid being poured through the straw, when you try to run away from it, it's like putting your finger at the bottom of the straw. So that energy is being poured into the straw, but it has nowhere to go. So you feel that within you. Then it becomes uncomfortable, and then you try to run away, which naturally then the thing stops pouring, the thing falls out, whatever. But then this is something that you have to learn in order for you to, because that was in order for you to move to the next stage. You have to focus on this, learn this, address this, integrate this in order for you to move to your next level in this lifetime, in this journey. And every time you run away from it, it's like it starts over. And anytime you resist it, it's like putting your finger at the bottom of the straw and letting that energy build up so it's uncomfortable. When you just say like, all right, this is just passing through it, and let me just look to see, what is this passing through? Is this water? Is this soda? Is this juice? Is this coffee? Is this tea? This is obviously metaphor, going back to the straw and the liquid, you know? You don't even have to do anything with it. If it's tea, it's just like, okay, so there's tea. There's tea running through my straw. You don't even have to do anything with it. It doesn't have to be oh my God, I love tea, or ugh, I hate tea. You can get to that later, but I'm getting that there's something about that metaphor, like being able to observe and knowing what to do with the liquid that's pouring through the straw, that this person will serve as an antidote. That's your ailment, is metaphorically, like that's your ailment, is this... I don't want to say inability, but it's almost like not knowing what to make of the liquid, that like not knowing what to do next with it. And that comes from, again, only keeping yourself exclusive to a certain group and not being able to branch out in mindsets. No, so if you had to wear all black, for example, in order to be in this group, people are, and so that means that everybody that's in this group wears all black. So who's going to be able to speak to the color pink or to the color green or to any colors? What experience do they have if the requirement is that you have to wear all black? Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what your guides want you to focus on, is like actually trying to shift your focus to a couple things, to shift your focus in general, but also to be able to sit with yourself so that when you are looking at whatever you're looking at about yourself, about your life, about your circumstance, about your environment, about these situations, you can look at it from a different perspective and you can be open. It doesn't have to be judgment. You can just see what's filtering through. When I first started meditating, a lot of people were, well, I don't know if you know, but the information that I got was, try to still your thoughts. Make it so that you don't have any thoughts. And that was really challenging for me. And that actually didn't really work. And that's not a thing that I try to do right now. Maybe if I get to that point, I honestly imagine that would be years down the line, because I just feel like there's so much benefit from observing my thoughts, seeing what I'm actually thinking, and how much I am or am not able to control my thoughts. Am I negatively minded? Am I aware that I'm negatively minded? Am I overly positive? Am I aware? It's like that. Seeing what kind of thoughts I have, where my mind goes. What is this symbolic for? Because there's messages that go through in that way. It's a lot. So I don't, when I start meditating and when I do meditate, it's not with the intention to silence my mind, because I feel like that's just cutting off access, honestly, to my divine wisdom. And why would I do that? If anything, I'm like, let me see what's filtering through. And then if I decide, then I'm like, okay, we're going to focus on this chunk for right now, because so much will come through. Yes. But I get to decide, all right, we're going to save this one. This one is this chunk of thought or whatever that's coming through right now. This thing that I'm observing about myself, this is what we're going to focus on. And by that, I don't mean oh my God, that's wrong. I don't do it with judgment. I start by saying okay, what is this saying about me? Do I agree? Do I disagree? Is this something that I want integrated within my system, within myself, within my personhood? Or is this not a characteristic that I want that's indicative of who I am? And then depending on that answer, it's okay, well, what would be the next step? How did I get here? Or how do I get out of here? Whatever the situation is, it's that type of approach that I don't know that your guides want you to focus on, instead of being so, I'm getting honestly critical and judgmental. And that's the other thing that they're highlighting is the fact that you're so afraid of judgment from others indicates how judgmental you are of yourself and of others. They want you to bring your awareness to that. And they're not judging you by saying that. They're just simply saying notice that, acknowledge that, and then decide what you want to do about it. Do you want to continue to be a judgmental person? If so, that's absolutely your choice. They're always going to work in your highest good. So, I feel like your guides guide you against that, because ultimately that's going to keep you in a judgmental place. And when we're judgmental, anyways, that's a whole thing that can unfold. But my point is you'll eventually, if you decide you want to continue to remain judgment, your life will then move in that direction. So the experiences that you have, the lessons that you learn are going to revolve around judgment. If you decide you don't want to be judgmental, then the experiences that you have, the lessons that revolve around that is going to be to that. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you continue to say nah, I definitely want to remain as an elitist, and fuck it, if anybody's doesn't like my judgment, oh, well, that's their problem. Then you're going to continue to be in this energy of that anxiety and that fear of judgment and constantly having to meet certain expectations and show up and produce and be this person, because you don't want to be judged. So it's going to be unhealthy for you. But once you can let go of that judgment, you'll then start to invite in people in that same vibrational frequency who are non-judgmental. That will give you the freedom to let down these defenses and breathe and not have to work. You can then open up your mind. People will share their stories because they're not afraid of judgment. And then you'll be able to see your similarity in others. And so all these things that you judge yourself about, you'll see like, oh my God, this person who has this multimillionaire company does this same thing that I do. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow. So if this person does the same thing that I do, that I've been judging myself for, but they're still able to be considered successful in the eyes of society, they can manage this multi-millionaire company, whatever, like shit, I can do it too. And then you can move out of the space of judgment. Do you get what I'm saying? The thing is, like, you might not know that about this, like, say this person with this company, because you're still in this judgmental energy. You're not aligning with the people who have fully accepted themselves. So you might not know that that exists. The people in that realm of non-judgment, they know it exists within each other. You know what I mean? Like whatever that thing is. They might even participate with each other. Why? Because they know it's a safe, sacred, non-judgmental space where we are just curious, we're exploring, we're learning, we're integrating, we're sharing knowledge and wisdom. Literally, life is an experiential journey. It's not meant to be judged, So when you get out of that vibrational frequency and you can align with non-judgmental people, then you'll start to have movement forward. So, all right, what can you do? Let me pull some cards, because I also wanted to give some like realistic, helpful advice for what you can do to legitimately move you to the next level. And with this, I'm getting a couple things. So one, meditation. There are many types of meditation, and even if you approach it like, I don't know, I just want to meditate and achieve this thing or gain this thing or whatever it is. If you have a certain idea of what you want meditation to look like for you and you can't find any information, create your own. You know what I mean? Like meditation. Look, I would actually like to invite you to look up what meditation is, because I'm almost positive that it is the practice of stillness or like internal reflection. So however that unfolds for you, sometimes my most meditative states are when I'm driving. Sometimes my most meditative states are when I'm just laying across the bed, staring up at the ceiling or staring out the window. It doesn't have to be in a specific space. Sometimes I get so much wisdom and clarity doing mundane tasks like cleaning, laundry, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So meditation it's not confined to just sitting down, legs crossed, and then journaling about it. If that's your thing, that's cool. But find your own lane is the message that is coming through. You don't have to find your own. I definitely feel like you're a type of person that doesn't really like to confine yourself to rules. Like, I feel like it's that elitist thing. Like, are you kidding? We don't have to follow those rules. Do you know who I am? Kind of like that. All right. So there's that. Also, the message that's coming through from your guides as far as what you can focus on and how to focus on that to move you to the next level is to be aware of what people reflect back to you about yourself. So it's the concept of that we're all mirrors to each other. So whatever you see in someone else, for bad or for good, depending on how you respond to what you see in, that lets you know how you accept or reject those parts of you. If you see somebody that has a vibrant, bubbly personality, and then right away your immediate response is to judge that and criticize that and gossip or whatever, and see how that person is different than you or how you're more elite than them or whatever the situation is, then there's something that's malaligned within you, that there's some sort of programming that tells you to be bubbly or to be expressive or to show emotion is wrong or less than, or it's worth being judged. So that's a part and then to break that down even further, that would be a pretty good indication that you have a hard time with your own emotions and expressing that or accepting that. So if that's a side of yourself that you're not accepting, that means you're judging it and then therefore you're judging it in other people, and it's a cycle that continues. So you maintain in that frequency. Do you get what I'm saying? So what you can do instead is to see how you are interacting with yourself by your responses for other people. And then instead of approaching it with judgment, try to approach it with curiosity. I'm getting so there's also a message that's coming through about illumination of, hold on, I want to say like magic or creation. I don't like magic. Like secrets and magic. I don't know. I don't know. That feels very specific, and like that would take way more energy than I want to extend to figure out the specifics of that message. But I think there's something talking about a judgment of that, of what magic means or what it means to manifest, or I know that that's also trendy right now, like magic and witchcraft and manifesting and da-da-da and all that stuff. I get it, and I just feel like there's a judgment that you have around that. So I don't know, take that for what that is. But okay. All right, so your guides are saying like you research that instead of going off of what you see posted on YouTube or social media. Like, you research for yourself. And I'm getting crystals that's being highlighted, especially like for grounding. I feel like in the beginning, when I first got into this pile, there was a lot of ungrounded energy that was just moving all over, and it needs to have a steady flow in order for you to feel balanced. And right now it's very up and down and all over the place. And so crystals can help ground you. So looking into crystals, and instead of just taking someone else's word, or go to someone that might have experience with crystals and ask them the question, someone that you trust. But, instead of just dismissing it like, that's baloney, that's not real, give it a try and see. I remember the one time I first got a green fluorite, and I didn't know anything about this green fluorite crystal. It's the tiniest little crystal. I'm sure you guys have probably seen it in one of the pick a cards before. And I didn't know anything about it, but I was drawn energetically to it, right? And then so when I got it, the lady at the shop that I go to had explained, it's for mental clarity, whatever. So then after that, I was like a couple days later, I was meditating, and I got a download, something about myself, and I was trying to work through it, and I was really having a hard time with mental stability and kind of grounding that and being able to think things through without it being so all over the place. Having like a steady stream of consciousness is what I want to say. And I remembered in that moment, that's no coincidence, about the green fluorite crystal. And I go to grab it, and because it's green, I usually like to try to hold the crystals like by its chakra. So it was a green crystal, so I'd put it like in between my boobs on my chest, so it could be by the heart chakra. And then I had laid there for a little bit and meditated, and then I was able to process. And it wasn't until after, at the end of the night, when I was getting ready to take a shower, and it fell out of my bra, out of my chest, that I remembered it was there. And then I was like, holy shit, like the clarity that I got just from that. You know what I mean? But with crystals, you want to charge them and set their intentions for it to do what it does. It's going to do what it does, but it helps when you add your own intention to crystals. So that's a side note. That's another thing, like an actual tangible thing that you can do to help with this focus of, honestly, of self, of getting to know yourself. That's the general message. Getting to know yourself, which is ultimately going to pour into helping you make this decision that you have to make. Between these, you know what it is, the circumstance between choosing the person with the ailment and choosing this empire or whatever, this community, whatever I'm getting group energy. It's like group energy over here, and then this one isolated being over here, and you're like in the middle, and you're kind of like, I don't know which way should I, So that's what I have, pile one, and I hope that made sense. I hope it proved to be helpful. I hope that this that those were real tangible solutions that you can benefit from. Another thing I want to personally suggest is journaling. Sometimes just whatever it is that comes to your mind, give it like a week or something, go back and read it. And once you can emotionally disconnect from it after you've written it and then you go back and read it, it's, for me personally, I'm like, oh my God. First of all, like, what am I even saying? Or there are times when I've written in my journal and I'm so in the moment and I'm saying whatever and I don't recognize it. I put it aside, go back, come back, read it. And I'm like, I'm funny as fuck. You know what I mean? So sometimes if you need a confidence booster, you could do that. But that's a really good way of kind of seeing who you are. So, and when I write in my journal, I always write like I'm talking to a trusted friend, you know? So I don't hold anything back. Anyways, I hope that was helpful, Pile 1. If it was, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for interacting with the channel, and I hope to see you again in a future video. Bye. Pile 2. So the energy that I'm picking up from is very, it's like Piscean energy. It's very dazed. When I was going through shuffling, it's like I feel like I was getting intuitive downloads, but my brain, excuse me, like I couldn't focus on them. I don't know or remember what it is. And then I got the vision of being in class, for example, and then the teacher calls on you to answer the question, and you're just kind of like, what is the question? What? Like, you're just kind of zoned out, not paying attention. And it's almost like nothing in reality is sticking. When I'm looking at these cards, it's like I'm legitimately just seeing cards. Whereas normally when I'm looking at these cards, I'm getting energy from them. You know what I mean? And it feels like it would be a lot of work and effort to put in the energy, it feels like it would be a lot of effort to read the energy of these cards. So I feel like that's how you're feeling. And I feel like I'm trying to figure out what this pile, like what message from the intro relates to this pile, or even if any of them relate at all. But even just doing that, it's like, I feel like I'm getting such mental blocks. Yeah, you do have the 7 of Cups here, and you have the Piscean energy. You have the clear quartz. This might be the pile of the psychic, the sensitive third eye I was talking about. All right, you have good self-image, intolerant, lack of empathy, and misunderstood. Which is wild, because you also have Oshun and Lakshmi. That seems contradictory. You have, this is interesting. You have, oh my gosh, you guys, I feel like I'm gonna have to pause this and come back to this, because this just energetically is, I don't feel like I have it in me. You have the 7 of Cups and the 7 of Pentacles, which again is kind of like opposite energy, where the 7 of Pentacles is about like, okay, Let me check to see what have I put energy in, what have I planted, what out of what I've been nurturing, like what's actually growing, what can I get rid of, what can I continue to pour energy into, what can move forward. Whereas this one is kind of, it's like delusions, and like it's that hazy kind of energy of like, I don't really know what to decide or what to do or what to choose because it's unclear, it's so foggy. That's such contradictory energy. And then, but then you also have the Nine of Pentacles, which is a card of like self-made success. So I don't know. I feel like this is maybe the energy. I'm honestly, oh gosh, I feel like I need to step away from this. You might be, are you actively seeking out opening your third eye or your psychic gifts or learning tarot or channeling or something like that, like your psychic abilities? Are you actively in the process of like learning that, tapping into that, integrating that, making use of that? Because it feels like that it's something about that is throwing you off. It's your energy feels like it's undecided and it's kind of tossed all over the place to the point where it's like you need a break. I feel like you need a break from it. Oh yeah, well, no wonder. That probably explains why I'm like, I feel like I need to take a break from this. Because I feel like, I don't think you recognize when you need to take a break from whatever it is that you're trying to do. I don't think you recognize when you've invested too much of your energy and now you're becoming unbalanced and you need to take a step back and take a break in order to align yourself with this Nine of Pentacles. Because there's a lot of opposing energies. There's a lot of like up and down energy. You also have the Ten of Pentacles down here and the Ten of Cups. You see what I'm saying? You have the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. You have the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, and in with the Fool card in between. And then you have, it's like, okay, how can I describe this? It's like you have, I can't even, okay, how can I describe this? It's such conflicting energy. I just feel that I hear like pick one. I just heard pick one. It's like that, whereas there's so much back and forth of like, I want to do this. No, I'm going to do that. I want to do this. No, I'm going to do that. Or there's a lot of like, okay. This is the energy of like, I'm trying to do something that's going to get me to my idea of success. And there's this back and forth energy between like, do I just want to be successful do it on my own and establish myself and then see what comes of that kind of thing? No. Let me articulate, because that's not it. It's like, it's this back and forth of like, do I want the end result to be the Ten of Pentacles, which is like wealth, status, security, stability, abundance, material abundance? Or do I want my end result to be the Ten of Cups? You know what I mean? Where that's like that fulfillment, that heart's true desires, whether or not that aligns with material abundance or pentacle energy. Like that, because that could very well be included in the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is like the happily ever after. That's all of your fulfillment, you know? Emotional, especially emotional fulfillment. It's like, do I want to be happy? I just heard, do I want to be happy or do I want to be rich? That's the energy. It's like, do I want to be happy or do I want to be rich? And I think you feel like you need to choose. And there's a lot of back and forth about that. Okay, so with the psychic, all right, I got it. I think that it's like you're getting a lot of intuitive downloads. Your guides are speaking to you for sure. They're trying to align you with this, your soul desires, which I think you can't have both. I think you in order to have one, you have to sacrifice the other. For some reason, this idea of like love and fulfillment, I heard romance and like relationship and family and all that stuff, you don't equate that to financial abundance. Like you feel like if you have that, you have to sacrifice, I heard wealth, like you have to sacrifice wealth. There's more here. There's a history. There's a storyline here. It's like there's something there. How do I describe this? There is more to it. You didn't come to that idea like on your own or loosely is what I'm getting. where you have to set, it's like, I'm getting like there's a real, okay, I just heard it's so close I can taste it. Like when it comes to this wealth, this 10 of Pentacles, this abundance, you feel like it's so close. You can taste it, you can feel it, you can touch it. It's almost tangible. And for you, it feels like right at the finish line, now everything I ever wanted from my heart and soul presents itself. And I have to, it's like, this is the energy that I'm getting from you, where it's like, I've traveled this path all the way up right to the finish line, thinking that like, okay, I was looking for this fulfillment and it never showed up. It never showed up. It never showed up. But now that I'm at the finish line, boom, it showed up. And you're telling me I have to abandon this entire journey. Like, it's like you're telling me I put in all of this work and I have to sacrifice this finish line just to have this. Like, I just get this energy that you feel like you cannot have one without the other. Why that is? Okay, at the bottom of this deck you have 6 of Swords. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I think you think you'd be turning your back on something. And then I also think that it's like, I'm getting the energy of like, I think you feel like you're going to be turning your back on something. And not only that, like you're going to have to put in a lot of work, but it's not this kind of work. I feel like you're going to, how do I describe this? This is what I'm seeing from this card, right? Like, it's like there's this, I'm going to say mother and child, and they're down and out is the energy that I'm getting. You have all these swords around them. They're covered up. It's like, I'm getting like poor energy. So I almost feel like you think that you'll have to support the poor, whatever that means to you in some way. If this is like, maybe you found the person you love and they're like a single parent or something, and you feel like this is your person, but to be with them is to turn your back on this 10 of Pentacles. And that's going to be a lot of work. And I think you feel like you're going to be doing most of the work to get you guys to get out of this like turbulent situation or whatever this situation is, because they're too mentally tormented about something to like get up and help paddle the boat. I feel like this is your perspective, but honestly, that's not the truth. That's not the truth. This is the truth that you've made up in your mind. You have I don't know if you can see this deck over here. I'm just pulling, but you have the Page of Pentacles underneath that. And then the Strength card. And then the 3 of Pentacles. And then the King of Swords. It's like you're trying to make a logical decision about who you want to like come together with and what type of offer you want to make, if any, and whether or not you even have the courage to do so. And by do so, I mean like to walk away from this, I don't know, whether or not you have the courage to, you feel like to say yes to something, you have to say yes to your heart and soul. You have to say no to your material abundance. And like, okay, so what I'm getting is that there's a situation where it's like, let's say you're promised wealth of some sort, right? And in order to get that wealth, you had to do XYZ or make it to this finish line or whatever the situation is. And you're like, okay, I'm right at that finish line. Spirit is saying like, that's not the only option for wealth or abundance. I understand why you would think, this is Spirit. I understand why you would think that, because you've put all of your effort and energy into that finish line, singularly focused. You know what I'm saying? So much so that you did not recognize this whole time that there are other ways to get that material abundance. And you can do that in a way where you are also fulfilled and you don't have to sacrifice yourself. And you can, it's like that, and you can have, and what am I trying to say? It's like, so you can do that. Not only that, but when you are in alignment, when your actions, your intentions, your forward progress aligns with your soul's desires, it increases your vibration. And when your vibration increases, it makes it much easier for you to attract, including abundance. So where you've, okay, I just heard a lifetime. So where you've spent a lifetime working, I heard tooth and nail down to the bone to get to this finish line of wealth, you could have aligned with your heart and soul, raised your vibration, and like planted a couple seeds, watched it, and then boom, next thing you know, you're Nine of Pentacles. Do you know what I'm saying? There's also a message coming through about like your guides or your angels. You're getting a lot of like psychic downloads. And I don't know if it's overwhelming. I feel like it's throwing you off because you are coming through as a person that has relied heavily on like logic, the tangible. What can you see? All right, I've done this. This is the evidence that shows me that this thing yields this type of result. This is very like analytical data type of energy. I'm hearing like cause and effect, supply and demand, that type of terminology, like businessy. I'm seeing like businessy data, analytical, like, okay, this like reports, this yields this kind of result. So this is a process that we want to continue to move forward and work on that one. This didn't give us the results that we want. So it's kind of like that kind of energy where it's very like evidence, tangible, logic based. And so when these psychic downloads come through and you don't have, like you feel it so intensely, but you don't have the like tangible evidence to support it, or you can't make it logical in your mind, it's like you try to bring logic into it, but it just doesn't connect. So you kind of like, you don't trust it. You just dismiss it. And I'm getting to the point that it's like overwhelming now because it's almost like you can't stop it. You can't stop these downloads from coming. You can't stop this feeling. You've connected with your soul and now that soul is pulling you. Like, it's like you opened your... I don't know why I'm laughing. But it's like you've been closed off and so defensive for so long to your soul. And then finally, like, you crack the door to just see what's out there. And then I'm seeing your soul coming in like, boom, bitch, we're here. We're in here. You know what I mean? And now you're trying to like pull the door closed and your soul's like, So now your soul's like calling, tugging. And it's hard to ignore now. Because it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's one of those type of situations. Once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. But it's like it doesn't make sense to you. Logically, it doesn't make sense to you. So it's like you don't trust it. You don't want to go. I feel like I just feel like I want to stiff arm you. Sorry, I almost knocked that shit down. I feel like it's like me, in this energy. It feels like you want to like stiff arm this soul desire. Like you want to just shove it away in the closet and never see it again or whatever it is. You want to just like push it off to the side and like, no, I can't, not right. I'm just getting like, not right now. No, I'm not ready yet. I need to, like, it's right here. My goal is right here. Don't come in yet. And your soul's like, homie, we don't work on your timeline. And the more that you try to resist it, the more uncomfortable it is, the more intense it is. So much so that it's causing like a delirium. Like it's throwing you off. I just heard off kilter. Like you feel off balanced, maybe in a physical sense, literally, but also just like in your decision making, like shit where you would have been so clear minded and focused and all right, this makes sense. And all that data analytical, imagery and visions that were coming through. It's like where you would have been so solid in that. Now it's almost like you're realizing that you're maybe making more mistakes or slipping up more. You're like, fuck, man, how did I miss that? You know what I'm saying? Because I think you find yourself getting lost in this, you might call it like fantasy, but it's your it's your psychic ability. It's that energy that you're connecting to of your soul. How fascinating. Wow. I almost want to ask you, like, why is that difficult? Like, why is that? If you've found a thing that feels good, like you've connected with your soul, oh, well, that's why, because you feel you don't think you can have both and you feel like to choose one is to sacrifice the other. I got it. Okay, so, all right, so first of all, with this third eye, this psychic sensitivity, there's definitely a need to I want to say like resting ground. Maybe get out. I'm seeing earth. I'm seeing very earthy stuff. So if you are a gardener, if you do plant stuff, do that. Like get your hands in dirt and stuff, but also, or like toes in the sand or in the mud, or go walk on the grass barefoot, like just legitimately connecting to the earth. The earth itself has its own balancing frequency. And so that helps to ground us and to regulate our energy flow anyway. We would experience that more regularly, but we wear shoes with rubber soles, which interrupts that energy exchange. Think of it like if you're wearing rubber when electricity, you know, as long as you have that rubber on, that electricity can't pass through, because electricity is energy. So think of it in that same way. Well, Earth has its own energy, which is like the perfect energy for grounding us and kind of bringing us back into balance with our own energy flow, because we receive energy from Earth and then also from the cosmos. From the cosmos is that psychic sense. So if you're getting all of that energy coming from your crown chakra down into you, you have to ground it in the earth. And if you're not spending enough time in nature or doing things that ground you, having crystals, just various practice, eating root vegetables. So like potatoes, ginger, turmeric, root vegetables, you know what I mean? Or, you know, drinking teas, that type. You can look up like grounding, things that help ground your energy. But a quick and easy way is literally to go outside barefoot in the grass, on the ground, whatever, for a couple minutes, walk around, however long, and do that regularly. That will help ground you. So all of this energy that's flowing in through your crown chakra, that's flowing into your body, it's not necessarily having an outlet, and it's not regulated. So it's making you feel disoriented and kind of thrown off your game. So the focus is to ground, because grounding your energy will help balance things out, and kind of so you won't feel over flooded with this psychic energy and knocked off of how can I just, because it's almost like I almost wanted to say over reliant on your logic. Like it's gonna bring you back into a balance of being able to decipher intuition and logic, and knowing when to sit back and when to take action. You know what I'm saying? It's going to help bring you back into balance when it, like with that. So essentially I'm explaining all that to say that's going to then help you see things in a better perspective. So whatever solution you're struggling to find right now, you will be, it'll be so clear once you get back into grounding, get into nature, balancing, like taking a break from so much psychic activity. If you're a person that does, I'm being called out if I can be honest. If you're a person that does tarot, or just connect, like channel, whatever. If you're psychic, like this is, well, obviously, this is specifically for you as well. I can totally relate to this. So definitely having various practice. That's your focus. Because for some of you, I'm getting like you have intentionally set out to connect to your psychic gifts, but you may very well, okay. So it's like you intentionally set out for your psychic gifts, but you might have moved a little too fast and not done enough research to understand or to know energy. There's a book that when I first started was really helpful for explaining chakra and the chakra energies and how energy moves through, and it's described really well. The lady's name, I believe, is like, is it Anadea or Judy? It's called The Chakra System. You know what? I'm going to try to screenshot a picture of the book. It's an Audible book, but it also has a PDF attachment which breaks down like even various yoga poses and things that you can do to help with various chakra balancing. It's incredible, and I think that you might benefit from understanding the chakra system a little bit more and energy, how that flows, especially like related to a psychic sense. The way she is Anadea Judea, something along those lines. I'll screenshot it for you guys, but yeah, so that's the focus, is that you need to do to ground. So, what are some tangible, real things that you can do to ground? For one, well, meditate, but also, again, I'm just getting the energy of like earth, like gardening. I'm getting a lot of gardening energy. So, if you, do you guys plant? Do you garden? Or do you have plants around your home? Getting your hands or your feet like in dirt, like in earth, in whatever that, even if that's like taking a beach trip or going to the park and laying out and having a picnic, laying in the sun, you know. I just heard going mudding. So if that's a thing you do, go mudding. You can do that. But getting out into nature, into earth, I'm just getting such heavy. I think for you specifically, like earth energy. And I'm honestly seeing a lot of like dirt and plant, like grass. I'm seeing grass or like actual plants, like potted plants, a garden, and then like dirt, like mud and dirt, sand. So anyways, okay, I'm repeating myself. So that's a heavy emphasis on that. That's an actual tangible action that you can take to help you with this focus in order to move you to the next level. I'm also, I'm also, what I heard was allow yourself to be delusional. Not in a literal way, but remember how I was explaining to you where it's like you get these intuitive downloads and then it's like you resist it with your logic, where it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. So like I can't even entertain that. So, and that might be related to this 10 of Cups, whatever this energy is. Right? It's like that doesn't even make sense, and that doesn't even make sense with what I don't know. I don't know what it doesn't make sense with, but for you, for some reason, it doesn't make sense. Your guides are saying like, allow your mind to just run away and see like, where do you go when you just allow your fantasies to run away with you, or whatever the phrase is. When you just allow that to unfold, like, where does it go? What is your soul trying to show you about your truest desires, your heart's fulfillment that your soul wants? Instead of shutting it down and saying, no, that doesn't make sense. It's not. Understand that that's the limitation of your mind based on the limitations of this physical realm and also our conditioning and our programming. But the soul energy, it's limitless. It's expansive. There is no end or begin when it comes to energy. And our souls, after all, are just energy. And if you are able to feel that energy, think it, like I know that sounds so cliche, but legitimately, if you get that psychic sense and you find yourself in a fantasy, next thing you know, you're like dozing off or you're staring off, smiling, and someone's like, what are you smiling about? Well, that's a pretty good indication that your soul is feeding you its desires. Allow yourself to run away with that. That's the advice from your guides, your angels, for how you can, again, what you can do for your focus, which is to help ground yourself. And I know that sounds counterintuitive to say ground yourself but run off in your delusions. Why is that grounding? Because when you allow yourself to run off, it's like I was explaining in the last pile, if your psychic senses are, if you were a straw, right? Your psychic senses is like the liquid pouring into the straw. When you try to resist it, it's like putting your finger at the bottom of the straw. So that psychic sense, these fantasies or whatever, these intuitive downloads is pouring into you, but there's nowhere for it to go. So now it builds up in your energy and it's throwing you off. So allow it to just pour through and see where it goes. You know what I mean? You don't have to dismiss it away or accept it, or you don't have to do anything with it. Just allow it to come through and observe it. So that connects to, again, the message of meditation again. And also I'm getting the message of having compassion for yourself, but also like taking care of yourself again. I don't know if you've maybe taken a break from or fallen off of pouring into yourself. So let's say you're a person that regularly goes and gets a manicure and a pedicure, no matter what your gender is. Maybe you've taken a break from that, or you regularly get your hair done. Maybe you've taken a break from that. If you're a woman and you typically do makeup, but you're like, man, I'm going to take a break. Like, get back into that. Get back into your physical body and making yourself like kind of like grounding yourself. You know what I'm saying? By having physical body interactions. That's going to help you to feel like stable in your energy again. Yeah, with that stability. And it's just kind of like, it's going to allow your energy to help to channel that agent. So So that's your message, pile 2. That was a pretty interesting one. I feel like that was kind of quick. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you some actual tips that you feel you can use to help with this focus so that you can move to the next level. And if you'd like to share, I'd love to hear in the comments about what this experience is. Other than that, I will see you in the next video. Thank you, pile 2. Bye. Pile 3, I had to actually stop. I didn't finish pulling the cards that I wanted to because I could not go on any further. This energy is so intense, and not only that, it's so confusing and it's coming through, and if I keep on going, I just feel like I'm probably gonna miss something. So I don't know if I'm gonna pull any more cards. For your pile, I was drawn to pull a Moonology card, which I didn't for any other deck, for any other pile. And that's cool. Each of the piles had their own thing. But for you specifically, this one was just the bottom of the deck and it was standing out. And your guide told me to pull this one out. So I did. Okay, first of all, I want to bust out in tears. I want to bust out crying because I feel overwhelmed, which totally speaks to this anxious, unsure feeling. This is some of the stuff that was coming through. There's a situation here and it feels so convoluted, and the effort of trying to figure this out or sort this out it's like exhaustive and emotionally draining, and I feel so like fidgety and uncomfortable, like in my I don't know, I feel like I don't know if I want to cry or if I want to scream or spaz out or what the fuck is going on. I'm not actually even sure what storyline this is based on the intro, because okay, so let me just say what came through. First of all, there was definitely a message of a baby, right? So I thought it was the loss of a child. And I'm seeing that here, but I'm seeing like this child was a divine child. And another thing that was coming through was that I think somebody got pregnant and it was unplanned. But I think that there was a loss of a child. I feel like this is something if this is you, I feel like this is something you don't even talk about, because like when I started to try to say that just now, my voice kind of got screechy and it felt like it was being stopped. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, that might happen. Anyways, so I feel like this is not something that you've talked about or maybe even shared with anyone. Okay, I'm going to piece this all together, but let me just get out what all was coming through. The other thing that I heard when I was shuffling was Coyle Ray's song, and I specifically heard the part that's like, 'cause girls is players too. because girls is players too, right? So then I'm shuffling, and then more messages are coming through. So I'm like, okay, this pile you're a woman, and it's talking about this, because when this first came out, I was getting male energy, but then it was like girls is players too. And then later on, I heard beautiful girls all over the world. They could be something. But from that, I got like male, if this is a like male and female dynamic, or we can deal with energy, masculine and feminine. Either way, it's like I'm getting the energy and the storyline of like two people kind of like attacking each other, like placing blame. Like one is saying the other was a player, while that one is saying the other is a player. And it's like there's this sense of like we're done, we're moving on, but neither parties are moving on. And it's like this, what could have been. I'm hearing happily ever after. It's like this happily ever after that never came to be. And I think somewhere in there was a loss of a child. But I don't know if one party knows or not. Like I like the pregnant party, I don't know that the other party knows directly, or at least there wasn't a conversation. Maybe I'm getting like this is going to be really difficult for me to say, because I can't, two energies are coming through and I can't tell which energy is yours. And both of these energies are very powerful. They're very present. They're very like, it's not like I feel one energy more than the other. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's so confusing, because it's like both need to tell their story. Like it's like both of you guys are trying to tell your story to me, and I'm trying to listen. And I feel like I'm like, whoa. Like one at a time. Hold on. Wait a second. Whew, like take a breather, you guys. It feels overwhelming. And I think that maybe that's how you guys feel too, trying to figure it out. I think you guys have both confused yourself at this point. Or somebody here has confused themselves, kind of like of the timeline of events and the situation, and who's at fault and who's to blame and who did what wrong, and did I do this or did I not do this? Did this person do this or did this not do this? What came first? Did they do this first and then I responded, or did I do this thing and then they responded and I took that person? It's like that. It's such, oh my God, like mentally exhausting. And then not only that, but it's making me, I feel angry. Like I feel frustrated. Like I want to just wipe all of this shit off of this table. I'm seeing the scene from Silver Lining Playbook when they're at, on a date at the diner. And then Bradley Cooper's character orders cereal because he didn't want it to be a date. And then they start talking. And then Jennifer Lawrence's character is like, Bradley Cooper says something like he doesn't want to be associated with her. And she's like, you think I'm crazier than you, don't you? And he's just kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, like you're still going around saying whatever. And she gets offended and she's like, are you kidding me? So she's like, he says something and her response is really sarcastic. She's like, I don't know, maybe because I'm crazy. Ha 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 ha. And then she like swipes everything off of the table. It's like that. Where like one person is like, owns who they're crazy essentially, and the other person is kind of like denying it and projecting, and the person that owns their crazy is like, yo, you don't see you're fucking crazy, do you? Like you don't see that you are crazy. And this may be literal or not literal. This is like, I don't know if that's the conversation between you guys, but it's that dynamic of like, oh, you don't see yourself in me. You think that what you see in me is just me. You're not recognizing that I'm a mirror to you and I'm showing you. It's that type of thing. So whatever that is, whether that's like you're acting crazy, or whether that's you're not speaking up, or whether that's, oh, you're placing, whatever the situation is, but it's just the element of mirroring, where one person recognizes like, okay, you're reflecting who I am. I can relate to this. I own who I am. We can relate in this sense, where the other person's like, oh yeah, I mean, I know that I had this experience and it's easy to say that, I'm crazy, but I'm not really crazy. And it's like, you sound the most crazy because you can't even see you. Like you don't even know yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's almost like everybody, I don't know. I don't know if I started to say like everybody knows, but this person, which in this metaphor would be the Bradley Cooper character. And I don't know which one of the two that you are, you who's viewing this video right now. I don't know which of the two you are, if you're Bradley Cooper's character or if you're Jennifer Lawrence's character. Silver Linings Playbook. Watch that movie. I feel like that would kind of fill in the details of what I'm trying to explain here of that dynamic. It's a love story and ultimately they get together and it's like happily ever after, but it's like the way they came together was kind of accidental. And that's what I was getting too, is like it's an accidental situation. The other thing that I was getting was like the way that you guys came together might have been kind of like, it wasn't supposed to be like that. It wasn't supposed to have this much intensity and passion and love and fire and stuff like that. It was supposed to be kind of like a fling. So neither of you guys were expecting it. It was accidental the way it came together. And then also this loss of a baby, only take that if that applies. I'm getting that might not be for everybody, but this loss of a baby, actually, sorry, the pregnancy itself was actually accidental. But I'm getting something about like this being a divine child. And so for some of you guys, this is what's coming through right now. For some of you guys, when you get back together, because you will, that's when this child will reincarnate again and come to full terms and then become a human on earth and live out their lifetime. You get what I'm saying? For some of you guys, that was the extent of this divine child's like place in your journey, in your guys' journey. Do you get what I'm saying? Because something about that event triggered some kind of a healing. I know that sounds probably so backwards, but it's like that loss. It's like that loss triggered some kind of a healing between, like, it's like between you two, but separately. Because I'm getting that, like, even maybe if it wasn't directly communicated between the two of you, there's the sense that the other party knows. Like, let's say again, if you're the party that would get pregnant, even if you didn't share that outright, that other party knows that you got pregnant or something and that you had a loss or something like that. And that somehow is generating, it's something about that is healing. And I don't know how to explain it, you guys. I'm almost getting frustrated because I feel like I can see it so clear, but I can't explain. It's healing for both parties. Like on a separate individual level, I feel like it's healing to how you guys approach each other. Like it's like this person, I think, okay, so the person who, this is what I'm getting. The person who somehow knew is the person that is the same as Bradley Cooper's character. The person that doesn't recognize they're crazy. Right? And so because they don't recognize they're crazy, they were looking at you in judgment because you're Jennifer Lawrence's character. That's how I'm going to go with it for the sake of clarity. If you're not Jennifer Lawrence and you need to flip it, that's fine too. So I'm just going to talk to you like you're Jennifer Lawrence's character and then describe this other person like they're Bradley Cooper's character, aka the person who knew about the pregnancy even though you never told them directly, right? There's something about their energy that was judgmental of yours before this, and something about knowing kind of like how you process that or your pain and how I'm just getting like this indescribable strength. Like even though you're carrying, I'm getting so heavy in the chest and so emotional. It's like even though you're carrying all of this heavy ass weight of an energy on top of other life shit, and you just kind of like pick yourself up and you like have this brave face. Like you pick yourself up and you show up and you try to, I don't even know how to, I don't want to say like you try to keep moving forward because that sounds so cheesy and it's not even that. Like I feel like you struggle. You're having a hard time, but it's the way that you, I don't know, it's the way that you have this balance of allowing yourself to grieve and express these emotions, but also then knowing like when the right moment to like say, okay, let me pick to pick myself up and keep going or to get this thing done or whatever, because I'm just getting that. Maybe I don't think that you have a lot of support. I don't think that you have a lot of support around this situation because I feel like you might not have told anyone, you know? And so there's like this heaviness, this sadness, this super depressive anxious energy, this uncertainty of self. This is at the bottom of the deck. And I feel like that's your energy after this whole experience. But something about this person seeing that, it's like they have more compassion for you now. So they've stepped a little more out of their judgment. And I think that there's something about the way that you, I don't know, like didn't say anything, or the way that you like didn't make it their responsibility. There's something about what you're doing that this person respects, and they look at you at a different light. And it's like now they feel like you have some kind of credibility, because maybe you're the person that's like, this person might have received you as like preachy or crazy. Like what you're saying is crazy. How can you, like, you're a crazy person. How can you even say what you're saying? And for you, you're like, yeah, I'm crazy. And the fact that you're like, yeah, maybe I'm crazy, but me being able to actually own that and acknowledge that and speak to my experience and okay, it's not that. It's like the fact that this is you, right? This is how your demeanor is. Your approach is, okay, I've had this experience, so I can get, there's something that I can share from this, that it's like the advice that you give or something, it's coming from experience. Where this person, I think, doubted it from you before because of how you carried yourself. But now that they've seen you actually go through this, and they see like the hurt, the depression, the way that you are trying to manage healing, plus still showing up and giving advice and kind of putting on, I feel like the only phrase that I can think of is brave face, but that feels so minimizing to the situation, because to say that you're putting on this brave face, it feels like it's intentional, and like, yes, ish, it's almost like you don't have a choice. Yeah, there it is. It's like, it's not intentional. Like, you're not like, okay, today's the day I'm going to pick myself up and go. It's like, I don't have a choice. You know what I mean? And this experience is allowing you to, I don't know, connect deeper to your wisdom and offer different perspectives and different levels of compassion. And it's like this person is like, damn, it's validated. It's like this person is almost, I'm hearing credentials again. It's like now they feel like you have the credentials, like you being able to spot their quote unquote crazy. It's like, okay, this is actually coming from somewhere. There's a respect now that this person didn't have for you. I guess because, I don't know, they just needed to see you go through some shit. I think that maybe your demeanor, because of how you like give advice or something, because it's so loving and nurturing and upbeat, and almost like, I almost want to say they didn't take it serious. Like they thought that you were just being like this, oh, I'm so perfect and nothing ever happens to me and I have all the answers. Like, I feel like that's how they were looking at you before. But they're realizing like, no, you actually have been through some shit, and that's why you know this. And it's fucking amazing that you can still maintain this compassionate demeanor when giving advice, instead of being a cold-hearted, wicked fucking snake. You know what I mean? That's lashing the fuck out on everyone. It's like they have this amazement at the fact that you're able to have this like purity, this innocence in your being. And now I feel like they want to like come in and nurture you. I don't know if this person has owned their crazy yet, though. I mean, that's not to say like, that's not a comment on how you should move forward or not. I'm just saying, like, I think they have a respect for you. I don't know that this person, I think they might still be denying parts of their self. And when I say crazy, again, I don't mean literal crazy. I just mean whatever this thing is that you recognize in them, that they are like, that they refuse to see, the way that you are a mirror to them and you show them who they are, that part of them that they refuse to see, and they're saying, no, that's you. I don't know that they fully come to recognize that is in fact them. That doesn't mean it's not you, but it is in fact them also, I think that they still have some like growing to do in that. So I don't know what that means as far as like you guys coming together and not coming together I want to say for a lot of this pile, I think you guys are going to come back together, and I don't know. It's just going to be, I'm getting like, it's going to feel like a friendship. And that's not to say that it won't be romantic, but it's like you're going to have that solid connection of a friend. Because you can be romantic with someone, but it's like, how much can you really trust someone that you're just romantic with? Because if you're just romantic with them, like, you're just intentionally wooing them. You're just intentionally sharing physical interaction. You're just intentionally, and then eventually, maybe, depending on how you guys respond to each other, you might build like a bond of friendship. But this feels like there's like a foundation of friendship first, where there's an openness, a trust that's built that allows you guys to really, this fear of intimacy that's coming through, it's like it just really just disintegrates that for both of you guys. Because you guys there's that foundation of friendship. Like, you guys have respect for each other on that level. Because I think that there's something about this person, the Bradley Cooper character, and maybe also in your energy, where you guys kind of almost, it's like it's easier to dismiss I don't know how to, like, it's like it's easier to kind of dismiss romantic relationships as less valuable in whatever type of knowledge they can contribute. Because it's almost this element of, I think that both of you guys before each other have been dealing with people that were not your equal. They were less than your equal. Meaning, like, you were carrying a lot of the relationship. You had the wisdom, or you had the experience, or you provided whatever it is. You were kind of, maybe like moving the relationship forward or whatever. So there's kind of this sense of like not respecting romantic partners in that way because they were never your equal. So it's like, I can't even always come to you and ask you for advice, and if I do, I don't even know that I can trust you. Like, I might see what you say, but then I'm going to ask my friends, because that's a real connection. They know me for real. Like, they got to know me. So that not only are they giving advice according to who I am, but also from a friendship, like caring, loving, deep, respectful place. Whereas you guys might not have had that in your romantic relationships, like with other people before. But something about this, when you guys come back together, there's going to be a foundation of friendship. So you will be able to count on each other and rely on each other, and you will take into account the other person's perspective or opinion or advice, because like, you guys, it will invest in getting to know each other. And that like this Bradley Cooper person knows that where you're coming from is experience, you know what I mean? And then you are the person that I feel like you already kind of operate in that. Like, you feel like everybody has something to contribute because everybody has had some kind of life experience. And that's usually where our advice and our perspectives come from. So you already are like in that energy towards this person and towards anybody. Where this person was in a little bit more of a judgmental energy, and so they've had to learn, at least with you. I don't know how evolved they are on a grander scale, like with other people outside of you. And I'm saying that because they've seen you go through some shit and how you've handled it, like real life shit. And they see that you're not just talking from your ass, honestly. So there's credibility there. And I feel like there's an element like where they've seen you offer advice that has helped people to move on past things that they're really struggling with. And the way that you offer the advice, it's not like you have to do this, or if I were you, it's not in a condescending tone. It's very compassionate and very like, I see you in me. That is your general approach. You understand projection. You know what I mean? So you're like, I see me in you. Did I say that the first time? Because that's what I was trying to say. If I said it opposite, my bad. But you're like, I see me in you. So yeah, I'm not going to judge you. You know what I mean? Like, I've been there. And if not, I may someday. So yeah, I respect what you're going through, because I may be coming to you in the future to say, hey, remember when you went through that situation? I'm going through that now. What did you do? What's your advice? You know? Like, you build relationships in that way. Whereas this person's like quick to say, like, look at someone and like, you don't even know what you're talking about, you know? So I explained that to say, like, I know that the way that they approached you, that's going to be a flip where they have respect now. And it may not be such a challenge when it comes to your perspective and more of a curiosity, but I don't know that they're that way with other people. And that may be because I think they still feel like the other people around them, this person has found an equal in you. And I don't know that these people that have been around them, if they weren't an equal before, there's a sense that like they're still not an equal. Like if they're still, what they're offering is still like, I almost want to say like basic elementary type advice, you know, like high school type advice. It's like that game playing mind game, like the people around them, like, oh no, you know, you gotta, like the people around them, if it comes to like giving advice, the people around them would offer advice that's along the lines of, you know, like if this person met someone, they would say something like, okay, well, you know, don't text them for at least 3 days. And if she responds, wait 30, she or he, when they respond, wait so-and-so, ignore their first. And it's like, well, that's high school shit. So there's this sense that like the advice that's given to them is kind of like it's not equal to their, I honestly want to say it's not equal to their intelligence level and their like wisdom or awareness. Whereas with you see it from a higher perspective, and it's like, I just heard, you get me. Like it's like that person feels like you get me. Like you think like I think, you see what I see. You get me. This may be a psychic connection. When I was saying that just now, I realized after the fact, like my hand was automatically drawn up to my third eye area while I was talking about that connection between you two. So this might be a psychic connection also. And there's a lot of purple imagery, which has to deal with like your psychic ability, the crown chakra. So you guys may seriously be psychically connected, which would totally make sense, you know, with that divine child. I think that it's like, okay, if this is you, let's say it's a male and a female. It doesn't have to be, but if this is the Jennifer Lawrence and this is the Bradley Cooper, right? It's like you are so divinely guided. I'm looking at all the purple around the crown chakra and then all the purple. It's like this person is divinely guided and this person is divinely protected. Or something like you are able to offer some divine guidance, some divine wisdom, and this person is able to offer some divine protection. But this person also has like that purple here in their like third eye crown chakra area. So there's like a psychic connection between you two. You see what I'm saying? Also, this is a divinely, like this connection is so protected by your angels. It's like, I feel like your people, your spiritual people, your angels, your ancestors, they are absolutely, it's like they're doing, I'm just getting like such exhaustive energy trying to orchestrate the coming together of this. But I'm also getting, well, this came through like so clear, like make it clear, this is not like a rushed thing. You know, it's not like, let's just get them together for the sake of get together. It's like, let's hurry up and get this together, you know, because it's been too stagnant for too long. But also like, we don't want it to be, let's rush to get together and then boom, we take off. If that's the pace that you guys set, that's what you set. But it needs to be like I want to say almost I don't know if slow coming together is the thing, but it's like you can't skip a step. Whatever happened, this confusion energy that I was getting before and the like whole placing blame and whose fault is it? It's like I'm getting that we can't just go from that into like, let's merge and go forward. There has to be some sort of a smooth transition. Like maybe you guys have to have a conversation. And as how detailed that will be or not be is, I guess it's up to you guys, but there just has to be some sort of acknowledgement of like, man, that was a shitty thing. And I think we both, I'm saying like from your perspective, like both of you guys, like this is a shitty thing. And I think that we both, I don't know, contributed in whatever way, or maybe we said these things or we didn't, or maybe I wasn't clear about this. Maybe you thought this about me and I could have clarified that, or whatever the situation is. It's like that. Just like yeah, we need to acknowledge that that was a fucking doozy, and we definitely don't want to have that going forward. So like, what do you need going forward? What do I need going forward? Can we give that? How can, because I feel like it's like, how can we show up for each other? How can we give that to each other? What do you get what I'm saying? That message, okay, so and I don't know that the focus, so what the focus, I feel like I need to sit down for this one. I'm starting to feel very like that confused energy again. I had to sit down, so I'm a little bit further away from the mic, so I hope you can still hear me. I'll try to talk. I'll talk louder though. Okay, so I'm getting the sense that this has really rocked both of your self-esteem, both of your confidence, both of your sense of identity. So the focus is like pouring into yourself, into your stability. I'm getting a lot of healing energy. You have the Three of Swords here, the Star card, the Emperor, the Queen of Cups. It's like, love yourself. And the thing is, I feel like someone's going to hear this and think like, oh, you need to love yourself completely before you move forward. No, you just need to come up with some sort of a routine and practice and actually take action towards pouring into yourself to help build your confidence so that you already have some sort of foundation of what you can keep forward when you come together. And then when you guys come together, you have a sense of like, you have a sense of self, you have a sense of confidence within each of you. And you guys can then begin to pour into each other as well. So it's like you're healing yourselves, but you're also healing each other when you come back through. Because if you come back to each other and you're both entirely broken, that's going to be, or if one is entirely broken, it's going to be depleting. It's going to still be imbalanced. It's like this sense of remembering that you are enough. I hope this is in the camera because I sat down so I can't see. There's like this, it's a lot of like nurturing, loving, gentle energy. The heart chakra is being illuminated right now. So this came through for another pile, but so your focus is self-care. And I know we hear that all the time and it's like, oh my God, self-care. But this is truly self-care. Like, truly put in some sort of routine or ritual where, you know, every Sunday or whatever, you're going to take baths, and the bath is intentional. You're going to add essential oils or candles or, you know, salts or whatever, flowers, whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever your intention is in that bath. So if your intention is to relax, maybe you're going to add lavender oils. If your intention is to kind of pour love into yourself, maybe you'll add rose petals in with the lavender oil. You know what I mean? If you want more of a healing, you want to cleanse and heal your energy, maybe you'll add some Epsom salts and then put some tea tree oil in there to help purify your energy, purify your body. Do you get what I'm saying? You'll have candles there to burn off any energy and set a mood, relax, dim the lights, create ambiance. That. And then maybe you might also, you know, let's say a part of our confidence comes from our physicality. Maybe you might start working out again, or you might start putting effort into your presentation, your appearance. Maybe you're too focused on your appearance and you need to back up from that and build true confidence of yourself. Like, how do you feel about yourself without all of the labels and the name brands and this and that? You know what I'm saying? That's also another thing that's coming through. Journaling to make sure your mental health is good. Going for walks in nature. Setting aside time to give to whatever it is that you like to do to pass time. Like if you like to crochet or draw or cook or dance or plant pottery or maybe you like to host gatherings like I heard parties, but I'm getting more like maybe game nights with friends or families or some, you know, like more low-key intimate, just kind of what is it called? What am I trying to say? Like, events seems too big of a word, but that's all I can come up with right now. But like organizing some kind of events that you can really just like nurture your relationships with. Get that sense of confidence, remembering that you do have the ability to nurture and care. You do have the ability to nurture and care for others and yourself. You do. There is value in you. You are good at hosting things. You are good at organizing. You are good at whatever it is. It's like that reminder of self to help build confidence on a level that's more than just physical. You know, maybe you start doing word searches again and you're like, damn, I forgot how good I am at word searches, or Sudoku or something like that. Like I'm just getting like the self-care to nurture your mind, body, and soul. So not just your physical appearance, not just, I am smart, let me give advice to everyone, or not just all I do is sit and meditate. It needs to be a balance, like pour into all of it. So that's what I have for you, pile 3. That is your focus. Self-care, self-love, true self-care and self-love across all bodies. Mental, physical, emotional, spiritual bodies. Okay? I don't know who you are in this analogy between Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, but either way, if you did experience a loss of a child, I'm so sorry to hear that, and I'm sorry for the heartache that you're carrying, because I felt that intensely, and I feel literally your struggle. So I'm sending you so much love, and I hope that this situation is healed in the way that's the best for both parties involved. So I wish for the best outcome for you, pile 3. Thank you so much for being here and contributing that energy and letting me, tell that story, share that story for you, with you. I hope that helped. I don't know, bring a voice, bring some closure, give you whatever it is that you needed to help kind of move forward. So thank you so much for being here, pile 3, and I hope to see you again in a future video. Bye. All right, pile 4. Let me tell you some of the messages and themes that are coming through, that were coming through when I was shuffling. All right, so one of the things that I heard was generational curses. I also heard sword of truth. I also saw like red threads, the red thread of connection, or is it the red thread of fate or something? Also energetic cords like being cut. I also saw the scene from Pretty Woman where they're out to dinner and Julia Roberts is trying to pick up the escargot with the thing and she's doing it wrong and it kind of flies off. And then she's like, slippery little sucker, And it's so pure and genuine. It's so authentic to her. And like that's your energy. And So, all right, let me get into it, because this it's the way that this is the pile that I talked about in the beginning, where you might have had a rough fucking go of it, honestly. And you're kind of like, what about my fucking happy ever ender? Like, when am I going to experience the winds of change? When is the tide going to change for me? When am I going to get my wheel of fortune? You know what I mean? Like, when am I going to be able to move past this grief, this loss, and having to juggle like sacrificing myself and sacrifice for the sake of survival? That's how I'm like, what I'm getting, you know what I mean? Like, when am I just going to be able to have this fucking happily ever after, and it's not going to have to be so fucking hard, right? The thing is like, I feel that, and that's obviously depicted here, but that's not the energy that I feel that your angels and your guides are highlighting. No. They are highlighting your fucking resilience, your authenticity, I heard beauty, and I mean beauty like physically, but on a soul level, like the beauty of who you are. The other thing that was coming through just now was I was being reminded of the message that came through in the beginning that was from your guides, from the divine, honestly, that said you had to go through it so that you can speak to it. You have some, also the thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to complete that thought in a minute, but there's another thing that I need to say, before I start getting into that thought, so what I say in that thought makes sense. The other thing that was coming through when I was shuffling was I heard the song Levels to This Shit, because it's levels to this shit. It's levels to this shit. Because it's levels to this shit. And like, that's what is being depicted about you and your wisdom. There are levels to wisdom, right? So there is the wisdom that you get from experience. And by that I mean, you're going through your life, whatever, and then you have these situations, and then you go to whoever is your guiding factor, a guardian, a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, uncle, whatever. And then based on what they know, their own wisdom, what they've been taught, they then impart this wisdom onto you based on their experiences. So that's your experience. And then you grow your wisdom in that. So now you follow the advice that was given to you. That's going to get you the same kind of result that the person who gave you the advice got, right? That's one type of wisdom. So there's that, and that's fine. That wisdom is also the wisdom of generational curses, because it's kind of that energy of, if you always do what you have done, you're always gonna what is it? It's like, if you do what you always do what you've done, then you're always gonna get what you get, or something along those lines. It's coming through muffled, honestly. I don't know why I felt like I wanted to cover my ears just now, but it's coming through muffled. But I think you guys understand the quote. Anyways, it's like that generational curse of that type of wisdom. And then there's divine wisdom. That's what you're carrying, baby. Like, this is the wisdom that seemingly doesn't make sense. That it's like this, it feels like you've pulled this from your butt. Like, why does it, this is how people might approach this wisdom that you have. Like, why would it make sense to do that? We don't know anyone before us who has done anything like that. We haven't seen that, play out to be successful in whatever way they define success. It's like, that doesn't make sense. And for you, you're getting that. My crown chakra is lit the fuck up. You guys are so goddamn divinely guided and wise. I'm sorry if you can hear me like rubbing at my scalp. The angels are going crazy. It's so lit up right now, my crown chakra. And I feel like that's indicative of you. Like, you're constantly getting wisdom through your crown chakra, and you're getting guidance, and you are a divine channel. You are a divine channel. And I don't know if I feel, how can you not? I mean, at this point, if you were to reflect back at your experiences and the type of advice or wisdom or insight or perspective that you can share, and not only that, I'm getting you're vocal about it. This is coming through as like the sword of truth. So where most people wouldn't dare say that, or they don't speak up, or it's like, you don't, talk to so-and-so like that. This is your elder or whatever. For you, you're like, it's truth. It's not disrespect. You're like, I'm literally just communicating truth. there's a wisdom about that, and the way you do it, the things that you say, the way that you say it, because it's not coming across disrespectful. It's coming across actually self-respecting, which is like, I understand that this is your energy towards whoever that might oppose this wisdom that you have. So you're coming through like, I understand that you have your experience, you have your ways, and that's cool. That works for you if that's what you want. But I'm saying that is not going to work for me. That does not work for me. That's not a path that I'm going. So don't talk down to me because you don't understand or agree. This is divine, what I'm dealing with right now, and it's not for you to understand. Now, if you would like for me to share my wisdom and you're open to receiving that, then I will, but don't project and tell me what path I have to go down. I'm being divided. I feel like that's significant, the fact that I said divided. I was trying to say divinely guided, and it came out divided. And I know some of you guys might be like, well, it's just two words mushed. Yes, ish. I don't believe in accidents, though. Because, okay, so I feel like you do feel a divide in yourself. Like, it's like this push and pull between, I want to honor myself and what I know, like my gifts, this divine wisdom. I know it doesn't make sense all the time. It doesn't make sense to me all the time. Like, this is your energy. I'm channeling you, and it's like you feel divided because like you want to honor that. You feel like you're onto something. You feel so aligned with yourself, but you also want to honor and respect these elders, the relationship, their experience. And you don't want to have to like put somebody in their place, but I'm getting I'm done like channeling that, but I'm getting from that's your focus, honestly. That this is, I don't know if I said this already about breaking generational curses, but that's what that is. So all of these experiences that you might question, like, why the hell am I going through this? It's because you are, okay, I'm hearing a lot. I'm hearing a thought leader. I'm hearing a force to be reckoned with. And I'm getting the energy of like, you are the, okay, this is a lot. I don't mean to put a lot of pressure on you, pile 4, but like you are leading. Okay. So I was getting the energy of Mulan, like the movie Mulan before. And that makes sense because it's like you are the person in the family that's going to break apart and do something different and prove that there is validity, credibility, substantiality about this wisdom that you are carrying and that you are imparting. But it's a difficult path for you because you are the first. You are paving the way. And in order for you to offer this wisdom to those who come behind you, because just because you are the first doesn't mean that, you're the first. So it would be foolish to think that you're going to be the one that can sever all of these generational chains on your own at one time in one lifetime. There are going to be people following you, whether it's your like cousins or nieces, nephews, your own children, generations that's going to follow behind this thing that you are initiating, that's going to carry this on and continue to break the change. So what I'm saying is these types of experiences that you had, that you're like, why the fuck is this it? First of all, you have to be the representation to show that you can come from absolute fucking hell and still get your 10 of Cups when you follow your divine wisdom. My crown chakra is again, you know what I'm saying? And so you're going to be the proof in that, so you're going to be the proof in that. Another reason why you had to go through that is because, again, so you can speak to it. Whatever wisdom that you gained from that experience, plus the wisdom that you gained from the divine, it's potent. It's the levels of wisdom that you embody within yourself that you can then turn and flip and use for your advantage, for your benefit, to help you to heal, to help others to heal, to start a new generational pattern of healing, of different perspectives, of views of success, of, not sacrificing yourself for the sake of, okay, so I said self, which is reminding me of the Selkie card, and I feel like there's another message there, so I want to pull that one out. But for the sake of for the sake, I don't know, I lost that, you guys, so I'm just gonna let that one rock. What am I getting for that? I'm getting, if there's, I don't want to rush this. I don't want to rush this. This feels very important, what you're doing. It feels very important, and it feels timed. And I don't mean timed by like, tick-tock, tick-tock, you have to hurry up. I just mean like there's a steady pace. There's a rhythm. There's a rhythm. There's a rhythm to your life, to your wisdom, to the things you do, to whether you recognize it or not. And I don't mean as mundane as like you walk in rhythm or you can dance. I mean, just there's a rhythm to like the way the series of events happen for you, the way that you process, like there's a rhythm. It's cyclical, but it's like, it's timed. It's a rhythm. And it's like, I guess as soon as this is not to put pressure on you, but it's almost like once you master this rhythm, then you'll be able to communicate that. Once you understand cycles and the rhythm of life and almost like the series of events, this is so major, you guys. I don't mean to put a lot of pressure on you, but you're the one that has to do it. You're the one that can do it. You're the one that has the courage. Of all of your family members, nobody else is going to have this courage. They're too afraid of judgment. They're too afraid. They're too in their fear. They're too afraid of the opinions of others. They're too materialistic. They're too over emotional. They're too jealous. You know, and by jealous, I mean like, okay, this family member has this lifestyle, so that's my focus. I need to be able to get that and then more. You know what I'm saying? And you're not in that realm. You're the only one that can do it. I know this feels like a lot of pressure. Okay, so but anyways, going back to this, so there's something about like a rhythm. Like you have the ability to uncover. It's like deciphering. It's like breaking a code is what I'm seeing. Like you have the ability to break this code to understand, like the flow of life, honestly, is what I'm getting. I almost feel hesitant to say this because I'm starting to feel like a nervousness in my chest. Like, holy shit, like, what does that mean? I almost get like, are you panicking? Like, am I supposed to be doing something? What do you mean there's a flow of life? I'm breaking a code. What the fuck is the code? Like, I almost feel like that kind of energy. Don't let me project though. If that's not you, don't take that. But somebody here is like, I think that I feel like they felt the weight on their shoulders, and it's not that there's nothing by you being you and paying attention and connecting to your wisdom and just being aware. And I'm getting in very like curious energy. You know what I mean? By you doing what you are already doing, that's all. It's already contributing to breaking the code. You're already in it. You're already in the process of breaking the code. So don't panic. You know what I mean? You being here, wanting to know about yourself, your focus, growing, evolving, being unafraid to speak up and recognizing toxic patterns and cycles and deciding like who you need to say what to or when you need to pull away, let people learn. It's the way that you move. It's something about that is unlocking this. I just keep seeing like a rhythm of a cycle. It's like a doom, 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 doom. It's like that. It's like doom, doom, doom. And then like you discover the flow, you know, and then at first it's kind of weird and uncomfortable, but the more you go on, the more you're like, okay, I got this. And now it becomes a dance and you know the choreography and you just do it over and over. And you're like, okay, now I know that once I do this part, this is the next part that's going to come. So you're prepared for it. Do you get what I'm saying? And in that, it's like, you can see that then in other people where you can recognize like, oh, you're in this phase of your journey, or you're in this part of your life, or you're learning this kind of lesson. So this is likely what's going to come next. This is likely what's going to help you. This is what has helped me. This is what the divine is saying for your situation specifically is going to help you. Because again, I'm getting a divine channel, truth teller energy. Some of that's going to come from your own experience. Some of that is going to come. The word Charlotte is coming through randomly. Sorry. The word Charlotte is coming through randomly. I don't know if that's your name. I don't know why Charlotte is coming through. I'm sorry. I don't know. That kind of really threw me off there for a minute. Damn, I was really getting into it. I was really getting into the flow of what I was saying. And then Charlotte randomly came through, which just reminded me of this fucking manager that I had who was a super micromanager and lacked all accountability. I tend to attract those kind of people because I tend to be pretty accountable. And that's not to say I'm always like, oh yeah, I did. Sometimes I'm not aware of what I'm doing, but when someone brings it to my attention and I sit with it and then I pay attention to my choices, my thoughts, my actions, my interactions with other people, then I can say like, oh damn, this is a thing I do. Or no, that's definitely not a thing that I do. I think it's misunderstood. And then I can communicate as such. But in that way, I attract a lot of people, a lot of situations where people are not accountable. And I call that out. I'm like, no, hold on a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing this thing and now you're trying to place it on me, or you're trying to blow past it. And I'm clearly communicating to you that I have an issue with this and I'm trying to come up with a solution of how we can move forward, because I don't like the way this worked out. And I don't know if that was your intention or if you care or if it wasn't or what. But either way, you know what I'm saying? That's my energy. That is also your energy. Now I'm hearing truth teller again. Like, it's such truth teller energy. But like, I also heard, like, I don't give a fuck, but yes, I don't give a fuck. It's an element of that. There's an element of like, I'm sick of putting everybody else's feelings up above mine, or, you know, weighing it as equal as mine. Not that it's not, but it's like, people are not giving me that same consideration. So I don't give a fuck, because I know my intention is not to hurt anyone. It's just to illuminate truth. And I'm not going to allow anyone to disrespect me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to allow myself to be disrespected. So I'm going to speak up on that. And I'm not going to disrespect myself by not saying anything. So you're like, I'm going to speak up. That's a part of this divine wisdom that you have. That's a part of being able to break these generational curses. You might also find yourself attracting somehow unintentionally. Like, I feel like a lot, it's like, not okay. Let me explain, because that's coming. I'm sorry. I don't mean to say explain, but let me clarify, because it's coming through. Spirit corrected me. It's not that you're attracting. These people are sent your way by the divine. There's no such things as accidents. So these people that you cross paths with, no matter how short or long, there's usually, if you go back, there's some sort of encounter with people where you're having to, or the opportunity is presented. So if you're not in this energy yet where you're completely empowered to speak up for yourself, that's what this is. That's what this focus is. So maybe this, for some of you guys, okay, hold on. Whew, that was a definite no. The path. Oh, that's why. Okay, because I didn't finish my sentence. So what I was saying is that it's not that you're attracting. These people are being sent to you because you have this energy to be able to show this, to show other people who their selves, basically, you know, where they lack accountability and how they might express that. So it's like, you show them how they lack accountability, and because it's almost like their response might be like, the audacity, how dare you, who do you think you are? Their response is jealousy. You might have a lot of people talk about you, make up fucking stories about you, try to paint you in a negative light to others who have the potential to think highly of you, especially those who have status. It's like they want to throw dirt on your light. It's like they want to do everything to try to, like, no, there's not a light here. You know what I mean? Because they're jealous, because they don't want you. They don't want you to steal their light. And for you, you're like, homie, I cannot steal the light that is innately within you. Oh my gosh. Okay. So in the beginning I don't have the Caroline Miss archetypes deck yet. I'm manifesting that though. So if one of you lovely gems would like to donate to this channel, my Amazon wish list is below. That's for sure going to be my next deck though. I'm totally manifesting that. Anyways, the thing that was coming through, I don't know exactly what the title of this archetype is, but it's the quote on it that's like, sheds light on the inner light within you that can never be stolen. You understand that. So you know that by shining your light, you're not taking anyone's light away from them. If anything, you can act as a spark to help ignite and illuminate somebody else, because that's what light does. It casts out shadows. Do you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean you're stealing the light from anyone. If someone's light is dim, that's because their own shadow is doing that. And by that, I mean, you know, because they're throwing jealous energy. super opinionated and judgmental and super materialistic and cunning and conniving. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing that all on your own, homie. You don't need my help. You know? Like, trust me, I am not stealing your light. You have that down pat on your own. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, these people are brought to you so that you can show them that aspect of their self. And so you might deal with a lot of people that kind of react in a way where they start to project and try to make it your fault and blah, 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 blah. But I feel like it always works out where eventually, I just heard truth will out. So eventually the truth will always out. And this might have bothered you in the beginning where, like, when I mean beginning, I mean like the earlier part of this journey, which may have been your younger years, maybe like teen years or early 20s. You know what I mean? Where it might have bothered you, where you're like, gosh, why am I not, I just heard vindicated. Well, like, why am I not being vindicated? Like, why are these people getting away with this stuff? Why is there no justice? Oh, that's funny because you have justice here. And then Sunday Justice from the book Where the Crawdads Sing, which is a fabulous book, by the way, if you want to read that. Sunday Justice is the cat. There's something in there about that story where it's like, you're Kaya, so unsuspecting. Some of you might even be kind of quiet, you know, and it's like it's like you're divinely guided. You're so connected with elementals, nature, you know what I'm saying? Energy. Anyways, she got accused for something that she didn't do, and she spent time in jail, and there was a cat that came in and kept her company and kind of like imparted wisdom. Obviously the cat, okay, well, I don't know if it's obvious, but the cat wasn't directly talking. It's just like that energetic wisdom. Like the cat would do something, and then from that she would get a message. Kind of like, it's symbolism, how divine works through symbols. So that, and that cat's name was Sunday Justice. Well, she ended up getting off because any evidence that they had, it was just circumstantial hearsay. No, it was unfounded. So she ended up getting released free, and she got her retribution or whatever. Anyways, there might be a message in that book for you. That's also now a movie. I would highly suggest the book though, because it's so much more detailed than as any movie. It's so much more detailed, and I just feel like you probably would get more messages and be able to relate a little bit more to Kaya's story in the book. And if you're not one that likes to sit and visually read, do audiobook. I really, really, really am strongly getting the message that you guys should really read Where the Crawdads Sing. Because I think a lot of her experiences you might have experienced. Yeah. Oh, because remember I was saying in the beginning, like, themes of like poverty and being out and being like abused sexually, mentally, emotionally, all of that she's experienced. Did I say being like outcasted? I don't know if I said that in the intro, but like abandonment, like that abandonment. She was abandoned. I feel like you can relate to that. I please, you don't have to, but I strongly suggest that you read Where the Crawdads. And if you have already, can you comment below and let me know what you think about like what I'm saying, what the message is coming through about that. And also, did you love that book, though? Did you love that book? Because I cried. I could totally relate. I'm Kaya. I'm not just saying that. Like, legitimately, a lot of her experiences I can 100% relate to. And that's usually how it is. People like us with these divine gifts, there's a whole thing we have to go through in order to access this. If it's sincere, if it's genuine, if it's divine, if it's levels, you know what I'm saying? Like, levels to this shit. So, yeah. All right. So your focus here, I think your focus is, what I'm getting, honestly, is to shift to shift the way that you're looking at this, to move from like, why is this happening to me, to understand, or why did all this happen to me, for what, like that kind of questioning, to understand. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me back up, because there was another message that was coming through as well before, which was basically saying like, there was an element of like, I did the work, I passed the test, I've bared the burden, or whatever that phrase is. I bared the brunt of the burden. Is that the phrase? Anyways, like, you're like, I did all of the things. I've gotten beat the fuck up by life. Like, if I did all of that and I still maintain a good heart and I still am giving back and I still am kind to people, I still have compassion, like, why the fuck isn't my life unfolding better? Like, why don't I have the the physical, tangible, like abundance, you know what I'm saying? Like to make up from all of the poverty or all of the abuse or all of this unjust, all of these unjust acts against me, because I didn't harm anybody or endanger anyone. I didn't like, I maintained my connection. I'm just like hearing eyes on the divine. Like I kept my eyes on the divine and I was led and I did all the things. I made it through. So when am I going to get a reprieve? When am I going to get a break? When am I going to feel like this shit has paid off and I have some sort of incentive to keep going because I see that it's worth it? Like that kind of energy. So the divine is saying that, like, okay, well, this is what I'm hearing. This is not what I was going to say, but what I'm hearing is first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage. The message isn't that literally, although for some of you it might be. But what I'm saying, what the message behind that is, like, first you have to, the reason why you went through all of that is you have gotten the reward. But you have to recognize that first comes love. And by that, love is intangible. You can't grab love and say, look here, I have my love. That's the first part. That's the first reward. And you have that. That's this level of divine wisdom, right? Then comes marriage. From that love, you ground that into the physical and you make something of that. So if it's me, for example, first I have all this wisdom and it's floating around and I can, offer it here in a conversation or there, but then I can do something with it. The marriage, I start a tarot channel where I can give back and use this intangible gift to create something. Then from this tarot channel, I can allow it to grow, which will then create a community where we can build relationships, have these are the tangible things, the friendships, the people that can relate, that share perspectives and can share the insight, the wisdom. Maybe you might meet lifelong friends, a lifelong partnership. From this, maybe you start your own business and then now you have the material, financial, Lord, why can't I speak? Abundance that starts to come in where you can then build this material life that you want, maybe the home that you want, move to the city that you want, have the car, whatever it is. So it's like that. Spirit saying first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage. So first you have this divine wisdom. From that you create, you find the direction, the focus, and create from that. Allow that creation to then grow and expand and unfold and then start to pour over into the rest of your cups, and you'll see that start to create a tangible foundation of stability. So shifting, that's your focus, is to shift, to remember what I just described and shift your focus to that instead of why did I go through all this or why am I continuing to go all this? Because the truth is you're not going to stop. Yes, you'll have the wisdom. And then again, like I said, you'll have the YouTube channel. I'm using this as an example because it's easier using myself. Then you'll have the YouTube channel, which will then spill out into other facets, other businesses, other ways of expressing this, creating your own business, whatever. And then you'll have the material, tangible wealth. But your struggles or the hardships or whatever, it's not going to stop because life is going to continue to life. Your wisdom is going to continue to grow. And again, you have to go through it in order to speak to it. But you'll have this comfort, this cushion, the community, the people, your soul tribe, it's that cushion, that support that maybe you didn't have when you were younger, that's going to help to kind of carry you through these with more ease than you've experienced in the past. And not only that, this goes to, okay, yes, I love this for you, Pile 4. This goes to what I was saying about like the rhythm. You'll start to understand the rhythm, the groove. So there's like in your energy, you'll start to feel like, okay, that legitimately happened to me. Before I had my tower moment a couple years ago, I felt it coming and I said out loud, like, I just feel like some shit's about to fall apart. I had no idea what it was, but I just felt that shit. Like for me personally. And it did. Oh, did it ever. It most definitely did. You know what I'm saying? So it's that. Like when you recognize that, you can kind of mentally, emotionally prepare. Like, all right, now I know I'm going to need to start amping up my self-care routine. I know I'm going to have to start journaling. I'm going to have to give myself extra time and space to process emotions that might occur. Maybe not take on extra projects or anything at this time because maybe my energy or my attention, my focus might be to, this thing. Did you get what I'm saying? So it's like that. And that's the cycle that you're going to start to understand. And then as you can recognize that in yourself, you'll be able to kind of like teach that to others so that they can start to recognize it in their self as well. So, whoa, what a fucking powerful ass dope message, Pile 4. Wow. I really love this. I didn't think that these messages were going to unfold the way that they have. The messages that I thought were going to be heavier weren't so much. And then the messages that I thought would be, like, I don't want lighthearted. I don't want to say that they were heavier, but it's just kind of like, well, that's not what I thought this was going to address. Anyways, I love this for you. So holy fucking shit. Can you blow the comments up with hearts if this resonated? I love this for you so much. I hope you can feel my energy. I can understand why there might not be so much excitement. Maybe you're in the thick of it right now and you're like, girl, you're the only one. All right, that's cool. I'm gonna carry us forward until you can get there. It's all good. Because why? Because we're building this community. You get me? You feel me? I love this so much for you, Pile 4. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being in this world. Thank you so much for the lessons that you have had to learn in order to share this wisdom that you are able to impart. Truly, truly, that's a blessing for all of us. So thank you. Thank you for coming to my channel. Little old me. Oh my God. All right, Pile 4. I hope to see you in a future video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye.